So I'm going to try as much as possible to keep up with the daily uploads of Wi-Fi battles. We'll see what happens, but, you know, just because of my work schedule, I may not be able to get battles as often as I would like. You know, I'll try every week to stream and get stocked up on games, but, you know, no promises. But at the very least, I'll have other content going if I can't get a Wi-Fi battle up. But I'm going to try as much as possible to keep daily uploads going, so we'll fucking see what happens. But anyways, hey guys, wow, I got a game here today against mootypwns. Just another OU game. I'll try and get some other stuff imported up soon, but I want to focus on OU for a little bit before I focus on other stuff. But anyways, this team is a really old team I made in X and Y. Well, not that old, but it was probably one of the last teams I made that was actually decent, and I figured I would give it a little whirl. For those of you that don't know it, quick run through. Mega Venusaur, it's just kind of tanky. CB Scizor, Life Orb Greninja. I also got the HP Fire Greninja, so you guys can stop asking about that. Thanks to the guy who gave it to me. Life Orb Thundurus, Defensive Crocodile, and Assault Vest Conkeldurr. So, yeah, that's my team. Lena's team, she's got some pretty decent threats on her end. Like, it's just a team of fucking threats, and it's going to be really annoying. The main things I do have to watch out for are the Conkeldurr, the Greninja, and then her dragons. Like, the Heatran and the Thundurus I'm not too concerned about, but the dragons, my only good check is Scizor, and after that it's going to be really annoying to deal with them. Like, I guess Greninja to an extent, but it's going to be really hard to deal with because she's also got the Conkeldurr and to deal with the Greninja, so I just got to be really careful with my Greninja for the most part. Otherwise, I shouldn't have too much trouble as long as I do properly watch for the Conkeldurr. Once I remove that, Greninja can kind of run train, so I got to protect that properly. But I figured she would lead off with Greninja, so I'm actually going to go off of Venusaur because I get Megan up right off the bat, and since she has no grass Pokemon, I can get a Leech Seed going and at the very least get some damage spread around. And I knew that the Greninja wouldn't want to stay in first turn, so I kind of felt safe leading with Venusaur. If she'd led with something else, whatever's threatening to Venusaur, I have plenty of pivots for. It's just the initial lead, forcing her to play the way I want to play. It's going to be better off for me to do so, so So, I'm going to Leech Seed her off the bat. Like I said, she does just U-turn, because it is a safer play for her to do. She can't really do too much to me anyways, and it's just going to be a dumb stall war if she tries to stay in, so it's more optimal for her to switch out. And she goes into Heatran, which is a pretty good check to Venusaur. However, I do know most likely she will go for Stealth Rocks right here, so I'm going to actually take this opportunity to go into Crocodile, which, I mean, I know she has a balloon, but at the same time, I can potentially get my own rock set up, or I can start spreading some knockoffs around. I know she won't appreciate taking a knockoff anyways, especially with the Leech Seed working. She doesn't want to take too much damage with Heatran because it does check a decent amount of things I do have, so she might as well preserve it for right now because there's no reason to not. But I'm going to take the opportunity, like I said, to get up my Stealth Rocks because it's a free chance to, and there's a good chance she's going to switch out, so I might as well. Here, the Conkeldurr comes in because it's an easy check, or, you know, counter check to Crocodile, so she might as well. But I figured here she would want to predict my switch out, so I'm just going to take the opportunity to knock off of my own. I don't really need the knockoff itself, but it's more, you know, precautionary thing because I get the Assault Vest out of the way, even though it's not that much of an issue. But it's more, you know, extra assurance for me for later. But figured here she would either go for the fighting move or another knockoff. So Venusaur's safe because she can't knock off Venusaur, and I can take a fighting move. So I might as well just do the safe play and go into Venusaur. She's going to just switch out to Heatran and be safe since I did knock off the Assault Vest. She doesn't want to take too much extra damage, especially since I have Thick Fat and Ice Punch won't do much. So might as fucking well, right? But she goes into the Heatran right there. Obviously can't stay in because I don't carry Earthquake or anything. I wouldn't mind trying it, but I don't know, whatever. But gonna go into the safe check of Conkeldurr because I can absorb any hit and then just Drain Punch whatever wants to come in and then take any other hits. She does miss the Fire Blast, which it wouldn't have done too incredibly much, and I would just recover most of the damage back from Drain Punch anyways, so But she's gonna get a Revenge Crit right here for that miss, so I guess it kind of makes up for it, but whatever, it doesn't fucking matter one bit really. But Conkeldurr came in because that was her safest thing to switch in, because she can damage me while, well, basically she can just damage me most effectively while not letting any of her other important Pokemon take any unnecessary hits when she doesn't exactly know what I'm going to go for, because I have been playing a pretty decent prediction game, so it's just her safe bet to do that. She does knock off my Assault Vest at the last second, which is kind of vital, because she brings in the Latios right here. If it wasn't for the knockoff, I probably would have switched out, because I know, like, Conkeldurr would have been useful even after whatever damage I took, and Conkeldurr with the Assault Vest would have been useful enough, but I figured at that point, without the Assault Vest, I wasn't going to be as useful, and I kind of want to see what she's going to do so that I get a free switch in to deal with it a lot easier. So I kind of let Conch Elder die. I didn't see any items, so I'm not really sure what to expect from it. I was maybe thinking Expert Belt or something, but it's going to kind of play key later what her item is, but we'll get into that later. Conch Elder seemed like, or not, Crocodile seemed like the best choice to bring in for the Latios to try and knock off. I do knock off the Greninja, so it's going to be less annoying damage-wise, but she won't rack up as much damage on her Greninja as I would like, but I'd rather have less damage output so I have healthier Pokemon. But anyways, she did go for Ice Beam. I figured Scizor, especially now that the Life Orb's gone, I can take any hit that the Greninja might want to throw at me and just go straight for U-turn. Even if she stays in and hits me, or if she switches out, it's a better move to do all around, so that's just what I'm going to do. And she goes into Heatran, which is perfectly fine. I knock it down to a pretty nice range, so I feel comfortable with Greninja going for Dark Pulse as opposed to trying to go for Hydro Pump, because the miss chances kind of annoying. I know a lot of people say they're on Scald now, but it's like Hydro Pump, I still feel like the power is more necessary, you know, the lesser of two evils, whatever. But kill off the Heatran, which is nice. It removes that being a possibility of a thing. Brings in Latios. I should have taken that as key that it was Scarfed, but I was more thinking, okay, she thinks she might be able to take a hit and then kill me off, because none of her other Pokemon want to come in on Greninja because they can't really take a hit, which was what I was more thinking. But the Scarf does make more sense when you're looking back at it, but then again, I'm one of the few crazy people that thinks Expert Latios is still a good thing, but whatever. Yeah, I lose Greninja, which is actually really key because of the fact that it was going to be very vital to deal with the rest of her team because it outsped basically everything, and it would have been really nice to have that extra assurance, but now I got to play it a lot differently. By bringing Scizor on the Latios, just go straight for U-turn, and she brings in Thundurus on my U-turn, which the only way I have to answer it right now, like really effectively, the way I want to do it is with my own Thundurus, just because of the fact that I don't want to bring in Venusaur yet and force her into a situation that's going to make Venusaur less optimal, because now, for example, she just brings in Latios, and if I had Venusaur in, she could have easily brought it in some other Pokemon that she fucking had still. I think Greninja, or I don't know. It was just I forget why I thought it was more optimal. Plus, I thought maybe Venusaur could still be useful because of the Altaria existing. Because I was really scared of the Altaria having Fire Blast this entire time. So I was kind of working around that notion too, that it could be that. I didn't want to rule it out, but I also know it's not the standard thing for it to have Fire Blast right off the bat. But whatever the case, Venusaur died because she did go for the safe Psyshock, and I'm just going to hit the Latios with a Bullet Punch. There's no reason to overpredict with a U-turn or a knockoff right there, because I kind of needed to get as much damage spread on her team as possible, so Bullet Punch was the overall safest choice, which is going to manage to take down Latios, and I'm able to take down the Greninja as well, so that was fucking great. I knew at that range it should anyways. Altaria comes in. She just goes for Dragon Dance right there because she told me her only attacking moves were Earthquake and Return, so in the end it really didn't matter if she you know, tried to attack me, because even a crit wouldn't be able to take me out, and if she Mega'd, she would have automatically lost right there, which is why I was more concerned about Scizor kind of being, you know, there and healthy, because if it wasn't, I would have easily lost to that Altaria, so I was really concerned about that, but luckily it didn't have the Fire Blast, so Scizor could easily just take it down with a Bullet Punch, well, 2 Bullet Punches, because I knew she wouldn't have Mega'd up if, you know, if she had Fire Blast, and she would have killed me and I would have lost, but since she sent in Greninja first, Altaria didn't have Fire Blast, and blah, 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 blah. But anyways, that ends with a narrow 2-0 victory for me, so GG Alina. Yeah, definitely would have won if she had Fire Blast and Altaria, but it probably wouldn't have been as optimal for what her team was, so But anyways, enough of me explaining way after the fact, but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, I don't know what else if I can say. I've rambled on long enough, so yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Such blah, recommend sub, and later guys.